It's a total horror show out in the New Mexico desert. According to authorities, 5 adults were holding 11 children at a private compound in appalling conditions and training at least one of those children to commit school shootings. What on earth was happening there, and could it have been exposed more quickly? Tucker Carlson tonight investigates. Ryan Morrow is director of the intelligence network at the Clarion Project, a non-profit that educates the public on radical Islam. He's assisted authorities in this investigation, and he joins us now. Ryan, if you watch certain other networks, you'll find it very hard to pick up on the Muslim angle to this. They're being rather coy about it, as is their wont. But the father of the principal guy here, for example, is a big-shot imam who was an unindicted co-conspirator in the original World Trade Center bombing a quarter century ago. So this has deep roots in the most extreme Islamic circles here in America.
Right, so what's really scary about this is that when someone from Al-Qaeda or ISIS gets arrested, you know they're almost certainly a fringe player. They're not a famous imam. Siraj Wahhaj is different. As soon as I started studying radical Islam, he was one of the first people on my radar because he's really one of the leaders of the Muslim American community, I'm sorry to say. And he's very radical, and the type of things that he has been connected to in terms of a coalition with other groups are the types of things that this group, this compound in New Mexico, were preparing to do, were learning how to do, that type of ideology. We haven't connected the imam to that specific operation in New Mexico, but you don't have to, because what you're talking about is the extremist infrastructure that does the hard work. The easy work is the violent part.
But in that sense, it seems more organized than some guy from Chechnya or wherever riding his car up onto the sidewalk and mowing down half a dozen people. In other words, that sort of freelance jihadism we've become used to. This seems something slightly more institutional.
That's right. So there's really two ways that you create this type of problem if you're a radical. First, you say, how do I create the person that holds the weapon? That's harder. And you do that by pushing the ideology. Imam Siraj Wahhaj, for example, in 2001, spoke at an event that was literally called Jihad Camp for Young Muslims. That's public.
Yeah, they're not shy about this, are they?
No, they've gotten a little bit better since 9/11.
Let me ask you something, because normally with school shootings, you'll see things on Twitter where, or the Las Vegas thing, for example, where there'll be a little bit of talk, oh, I'm sure this will be terrorist, his name will be Ahmed or whatever, and then it turns out to be the usual alienated loner. But things don't stay separate. So if school shootings are effective, at some point jihadists will cotton onto that and want to get a piece of the action.
Well, look at how we all reacted to it, right? Even if you think it's a small number of casualties, it doesn't matter because it's a school shooting, and so they achieve the objective. And one of the ways that these groups operate above that ideological infrastructure in terms of operations is they set up security companies, and some of the information I have provided, I broke this story today, what I provide to the authorities does link people from that compound to a security company. That's how you get weapons. That's how you get law enforcement type training. That's how you do this type of thing.
And that's fascinating, Ryan, because when you look at that compound with those piled up rubber tires, there's nothing to it, bunch of stuff sitting out in the desert, but it's got important connections when it comes to getting the stuff they need. Thanks very much, Ryan. Tucker is going to come back up.